Okay. Okay. I think my hair looks okay. Wait, where are my ugly glasses? Here they are. Gotta put on my ugly glasses or it's not a video. Hello, my charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. So today I wanted to pop in and give you guys a little piece of quick advice for those of you who are sitting here, it's December as I'm filming this, like pretty much the beginning of December, and you're looking forward into the new year and sort of thinking about those sorts of intentions and goals and objectives that you're going to set for the new year. And you're specifically worried about some habits, maybe some bad habits that you're trying to change, or some new habits that you're trying to establish. And I can totally feel you with this, right? I think we all know that across the board, like all habits are hard to change, right? That's the nature of a habit. You do something enough and it becomes like automatic in your brain. There's a neural pathway that is created in your brain and it's always there. There's no rewriting it. You can't erase it, right? You can't change it. What you can always do is just add new neural pathways that over time hopefully become stronger than the original habit's neural pathway. So I realize that this is a really difficult thing to be trying to do. And it's hard for me, it's hard for everyone. And it's because of the way our brains are actually, constructed, the way that we're programmed to actually interact with the world. So a few weeks ago, maybe it's a few months ago at this point, I can't remember, I learned this really awesome trick that is kind of like a hack for your brain when you are trying to change your habits, or you're trying to change a bad habit, or you're trying to establish a new habit. Essentially, let's say for the sake of this video that you have a bad habit that you're trying to replace, right? So, the rule of thumb when it comes to creating habits and new habits, and I talk about this a lot in other videos, so we don't need to go in depth. You decide what that bad habit is that you're needing to change. You identify what the cue is, right? The thing that happens in your life, the situation that you get into that ends up being the trigger for doing that bad habit. And you come up with a switcheroo, what I like to call a swapportunity. So a new, better habit to do in place of that bad habit. So that's the general formula for creating a habit, okay? But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is the brain hack that can help you stick to that more often. Like I said a little bit earlier in the intro, the reason that our habits are habits is because they're hardwired into our brain, into our neural net. And so they never actually go away. And what ends up happening is for most of us, for a majority of our day, believe it or not, we run in an autopilot-like mode. And in order to change a habit, we have to be conscious in the moment when that cue is happening so that we can make the conscious decision to not do the automatic bad habit and to select the better habit. And there's actually a little trick that you can use to actually get your brain to overcome the resistance that it often faces when you're going to do your new habit in place of your bad habit. That will make it easier for you. Because I don't know about you, but when I am intentionally switching out a bad habit for a new habit, what ends up happening to me is, even though I know what the new habit is that I'm supposed to do, because I'm in the autopilot mode, which is ruled by the area of your brain called the basal ganglia, because that part of my brain is activated and has me on autopilot, even though I know what the better thing is to do, I might fall into a pattern of saying, I don't want to do it, it's too hard, I'm going to do the bad habit instead, right? So I think you guys can feel me with this. But what you want to do is switch the focus of your brain, right? From the control being with the basal ganglia to the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is actually the area of your brain that is very conscious and is very good at problem solving and is very much more in the moment trying to help you be a better version of yourself, right? If you're trying to do any personal development things, changing habits, routines, etc., your prefrontal cortex is where you want to live from, not the automatic autopilot of basal ganglia. So what you do to actually make the switch from one part of your brain to the other, because unfortunately we don't have a control panel anywhere that says, wait, let's switch what part of the brain is active right now. What you can actually do is a very quick hack that I learned that will actually help move the focus from the basal ganglia to the prefrontal cortex. Okay, I've talked enough. Let me tell you what the hack is, okay? This does not take any time at all, and you can do this any variation that you want. But essentially, the way that I do this, right, is I think of the day of the week and spell it backwards, okay? So right now, as I'm filming it, it is Thursday. So if I were doing something right now where it was like, oh, I'm going to fall into a bad habit and I know that there's something that I need to do, but I can't force myself to do it, like I feel like I'm in autopilot, I stop, take stock of what day it is, spell it backwards. You don't have to spell it backwards out loud. You spell it backwards in your head, no big deal. So I'm going to spell it out loud. Okay, we're Thursday. Y-A-D-S-R-U-H-T. Did I do it right? Hopefully I did. I don't know. It's hard to spell things backwards. But that's the point. Okay, so the point of this exercise is it doesn't matter what you're spelling backwards, okay? But you actually have to focus on the word that you're trying to spell backwards in order for this to work. And the area of your brain that does that is the prefrontal cortex. So giving you guys an idea of what's happening in my mind when I do this, right? I see the word Thursday, and then I kind of have to work backwards in my mind and say, okay, there's the Y, there's the A, there's the D, S-R-U-H-T, right? Okay. That focus there comes to my prefrontal cortex. And strangely enough, when I do this activity, I actually feel, I'm not going to say tingling. It feels a pressure in here. Like I actually feel like this area of my brain is active now because maybe it wasn't before, right? And I think that's funny. Maybe that's just me. Maybe you're not supposed to feel your brain. I don't know, but I swear when I do this, I feel it there. Anywho, what this activity does is it causes you to have to focus, and it causes your brain to have to slow down and moves into this prefrontal cortex area of your brain that is really good for problem solving and all of this stuff. So theoretically, what should happen now if I was going to do something, changing my focus to this part of my brain is going to make it easier for me to say yes to doing the new habit that I know is better for me, because now my brain is actually working from an area that is focused on problem solving and focused on my personal development, we'll just say. So try this trick when you are having that sort of struggle in your own. Obviously, there's times when we're on autopilot and we're not even mindful enough to realize in the moment, oh no, we're doing the bad habit. That's a totally different situation. But I know many of us who are on this personal development journey, we're going to come to, times where we know we need to go do X, right? Maybe because you set like an alarm to do something, like to go to the gym, or I don't know, whatever it is that you're trying to work on, right? You're supposed to do X, but you don't want to, right? And it's because your brain is being ruled by your basal ganglia, who's like, we don't normally do this, so we don't have to do it. But if you can take a moment to be mindful and be conscious and do a little activity where, you spell the day of the week backwards or whatever you want, you could spell your name backwards. I just like the day of the week thing because every day it will change. And I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person, like if I used the same word, like my name over and over, I bet you I could start to memorize it so that my basal ganglia would stay active and not the prefrontal cortex. So I think, the day of the week changes enough, right? Changes 7 times in a week. So there's enough variety there that I do have to, number one, stop and think what day of the week it is, which, to be completely honest with you, for someone who is into their planner so much, I don't usually automatically wake up and know what day it is, surprisingly enough. But then I have to stop, see that word in my head, and then spell it backwards. So hopefully that's enough of an activity that you can just borrow that strategy that I use, or you can come up with your own sort of, scenario for this. If you want to do names or colors or whatever you want to do, you could say, oh, whatever object I'm looking at right now. So like I'm looking at a candle, right? So, okay, I'm looking at a candle. I will spell candle backwards, whatever you want to do, right? So I hope this helps you guys. I would love to hear about how you try this out and how it works for you down in the comments. So let me know if you've ever done something like this, or if you have any other of these fun, sort of brain hacks that help move you from an unhelpful brain state to a more helpful brain state. I'd love to hear about them. Let's share them. Let's talk about them. I'm also going to leave you a link in the description to my blog. I actually wrote an entire blog post about this. So I know we just talked for a few minutes about it, but you might want to save the blog post, read it, kind of get more insight there, because I'm sure I did a way better job explaining it in my blog. So definitely go check that out. If you want more of the behind the scenes of my productivity, life, and business, make sure you're following me on Instagram at Miss Trenchcoat. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Feel free to share it with someone that has a hard time with their self-control and forcing themselves to do the things they know they need to do. And sharing is caring. You guys know I believe that. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, bye-bye.